Today is April 27th, 2015, and I am Erin Woods, and I'm really excited that you guys are here. This call has been going on. I started it back in October, and it has been on the third Monday of every month. We got a little off this month, but I try to do it on the third Monday of every month, and the intention is for CEs that are in their first 90 days or just want to get on the call. Anybody's welcome. It is going to be recorded and will be available later, so if you ever have to miss one, you can catch up and listen to the recording. The disadvantage of the recording is that you can't ask me questions live. So I thank you, those of you that are here, for being here. I really appreciate it. Those who show up, go up. I say that a lot. Marianne says that a lot, and it's just sort of true that if you take the time and the effort to show up for a training, whether it's live or recorded or whatever, you're going to benefit from it, and your business is going to benefit from it. And because this is Shades of Hope, the artisans are going to benefit from it. So I am really, really excited that you guys are here. I'm going to just talk about some sort of things that have been on my mind and some things to think about as you're getting started. Obviously, tomorrow, April 28th, is when our new summer products go live, which is very exciting. I know I'm excited, and I've got a lot of orders to put in, and hope maybe you do too. But I love that we have new products, of course. I mean, we have 2 catalogs a year. The spring catalog comes out in January, and the fall catalog comes out the end of August, beginning of September. So the summer insert is like a boost for our spring catalog because it's out for so much longer than the fall. And so it's great. It's a wonderful little boost of products for the summer, get everybody excited. But what it really means when it comes out and there's new countries, that is so absolutely thrilling. We are up to 16 countries now. When I started with Trades of Hope 2 years ago, there were 300 CEs. Right now, there are about 1,300. And we were in 12 different countries at that point. So we've been able to grow enough to add 4 countries to our list. Hold on, my son is calling. I might have to say goodnight to my little one. Okay. He can hear my voice, so and that's an incredible thing. Some of the ladies when they were announcing showing the kit builders, I don't know if you saw on the CE page that some people were talking about how they were just welling up with tears looking at the products. I mean, those of us who have been CEs for a little bit longer, and even if you've only been a CE for 5 minutes, I mean, understanding that we are not just selling a product, that we are truly impacting the world, changing the world, playing a real part in ending global poverty. It's overwhelming. It brings tears to your eyes, and it makes you feel so incredible to know that you're a part of it. The fact that we've added Jordan and Thailand to our list of countries means that as a company we have grown to a level of sustainability that we can expand and have more volume of product and that sort of thing. Because we would never, our relationships with our artisan groups are precious relationships. I'm sure that you are starting to understand that. That we're not just, it's not like a department store where you go in one season and you pick out this blouse or this necklace from this manufacturer or this designer, and then next season you go with somebody completely different. We can't do that. We can't drop our artisans and move on to the next when the styles change or we decide something else is cool. That's not the way that it works, and that's wonderful. We are truly invested in partnerships with our artisan groups, and we have to grow together. And when I was in Haiti last year, when we were at the Haiti Design Co-op, which is where the Esther Clutch and the Campus Bag are made, Chandler Busby is the director of that group, and I was asking her about how women are identified for the jobs, and she said, well, there's actually a really long waiting list. And I thought that was kind of a bummer at first when she first said that, but then she said, you know, it is so much. It's so much better to give someone a job, make them wait for it, and then give them a job that is going to be sustainable versus giving someone a job and then potentially having to take it away. The devastation of that is so much worse than just making somebody wait a little bit for a job that is going to be sustainable. And that really gave me a good picture of why Trades of Hope is growing slowly, and we would never want to build up these relationships and these dependencies with our artisan groups and then have to take that job away. So it's really an incredible thing that we are a part of. I know that you know that, but I love that your understanding of that will grow. It's grown for me, obviously, in 2 years. It's grown for me having traveled to Haiti. It will grow for me again in 2 weeks when I go to Guatemala. I'm so excited that 3 women from our team are going to Costa Rica on Thursday, Crystal Barham, Mary Andrews, and Veronica Martinez, because that is, it's not, I mean, it's a huge benefit to them, but it's also a huge benefit to us. I haven't been to Costa Rica, and I am thrilled to live vicariously through their stories, and you're going to have that opportunity to hear their stories and garner that closer personal relationship with our artisans. It might not be firsthand, that it's well, you know, or direct, but it's a firsthand account, and that's really, really powerful. You know, our Small Things Great Love group, you know, if you read your newsletter today, we are growing so fast. We are the fastest growing team in this company, and that is wonderful and exciting and thrilling to be a part of. Me as your director, I have to, you know, remember, I've got to keep going back to the basics and reminding, you know, everybody why we're here and what we're doing. And it really does go back to that idea of we're changing the world one pair of earrings at a time. And, you know, I say, you guys haven't been around long enough to have heard me say that, but it's sort of there's a story there. When I hosted my first party with my sponsor, Katrina, she was doing her presentation, and I didn't really know much about Trades of Hope. I just knew that I liked it, and I liked that it was purposeful and missional, and I was considering being a CE at that point. And she got up and did her presentation, and one of the first things she said was, you know, we're going to change the world today. And I kind of thought, no, we're not. We're having a jewelry party. I don't know. You know, I mean, I knew that it was, you know, there was something else going on, but I kind of thought that that was a little bit much. But honestly, it is so absolutely true. Katrina was so right. And, you know, I say that at my parties now, that we are changing the world. That's, if you believe in the ripple effect, then you believe in what we're doing, that you can change the world, you can impact directly these huge problems of global poverty and human trafficking, one pair of earrings at a time, one party at a time, one CE at a time. And that, for me, that's it. Like, that's why I'm here, that's why I'm a part of it, because the impact is real, and I can share that with others and share that with you, and then you can go share that with others, and that ripple effect just goes on and on and on. And I can't wait to see where we are in another year. And think about last year, if we impacted 26,000 people with our sales, what are we going to do at the end of this year? Is it going to be 100,000? Is it, you know, are we eventually going to impact 1 million people? You know, we are part of a movement, and that's incredible. But it doesn't happen by magic. We can't just talk about, you know, loving the mission and being excited about the movement and loving our artisans. We truly have to do something. And the thing that you have to do is build a business. You know, we are a team, but honestly, we are all individual business owners, and we work completely independently. You know, we have the support of the team and each other and me and your sponsor and all of those things. But honestly, at the end of the day, when the door closes, it's you. And what are you going to do to build your business? And you just start with the first step. This is truly a journey of 1,000 miles. It's a marathon, whatever metaphor you want to compare it to. That is what we're doing. And you have to take that first step on day one. and then you take another step on day 2, and you take another step on day 3, and here I am 750 some days in, and I have taken a step every day towards building my business for me and for my artisans and for our artisans and for our mission. And I'm disciplined about it. You have to be. You have to do, we're not called Small Things, Great Love just because it's a good idea. It's a way of living, and it's a way of building a business, because when you are doing your everyday tasks, your daily routines, and you're committed to it, then you get 6 months down the road, and all of a sudden you look back and you have done very significant things. Your business has grown. Your monthly income has grown. Your number of parties is growing. Maybe you started off with 2 parties a month. Well, then all of a sudden you look down the road 6 months, and because you did all of the 4 parts of your business. You worked on booking, sponsoring, selling, and continuing education. Those 4 parts of your business, you worked it every day. All of a sudden you're doing 4 parties a month, 6 parties a month. You've sponsored 5 CEs. I mean, I cannot tell you how much can change in a 6-month period. When I break down my business, 2 years is not a very long time. And when I break down what I've done in 2 years and I break it down into 6-month chunks, it's amazing. It's amazing to look at the growth. It's amazing to look at, because when I was doing it, I didn't feel like I was doing anything big or dramatic. I really was just doing my daily tasks, following up with hostesses, doing my hostess coaching, I have all my little routines that I do, and all of a sudden you look back and it's like, oh wow, it worked. It really did. The daily discipline, that single step, all of a sudden becomes this 1,000-mile journey, and what seemed impossible was actually happening. So you have to do that. There's no magic to it. And what I love about daily disciplines and Small Things, Great Love, and the idea of, even there's a book called The Slight Edge that I was introduced to back in December, and I used as a tool when I spoke at retreat. The idea is just that when you do things every day, when you do these small daily disciplines, whether you're working your business for 1 hour a day, which is the power hour, or you do a little bit less or a little bit more, but you do touch your business every day, you never get overwhelmed. You never get, to Sunday afternoon or Sunday night and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have 25 things to do for Trades of Hope. I never feel that way, and I have a very big business now. I do a lot of parties, and then obviously all of the trainings that I do with you guys, and I have a lot going on, which is great because, the way that I have done it in doing it daily, and I never feel overwhelmed. I've said this in trainings before, that one of the pitfalls is if you have a party, so you have a party on a Saturday night, and you gear up for that party all week, and you get ready, and then you do the party, and then maybe you put the orders in, and then you're like, well, I don't have another party for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't really need to do anything with Trades of Hope. I can just, I'll come back to it a week before that party. Well, then 2 weeks go by and you haven't done anything. That is not sustainability. That is not daily disciplines. And then all of a sudden, it's like riding a bike. You're going to be wobbly, and you're going to, I can promise you, even for somebody like me who's been doing this for a long time and pretty regularly, if I have a 2-week period, even if I've been doing stuff every day and doing my daily disciplines, I still, the party thing, it's like, okay, I have to remind myself of a couple little things. And you get out of practice very quickly, basically, is what I'm saying. That's why it's important to try to have 1 party a week. Try to, get a good momentum going. And I know when you're at the beginning, it seems like you're staring down this blank road with no bookings, and you're like, I don't even know where to begin. But honestly, it just starts with one good hostess, one person who is able to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people to her house with your help getting her there, and those people are acquaintances or even strangers to you, and you book another 2 parties even from that party, then you've doubled your calendar. And then all of a sudden those 2 parties, you get another 8, 9, 10 people. So now you've got 20 people. And let's say you book another, even just 2 more parties at those parties. Well, now you've got 4 parties. And it just grows. And so I think when you're at the beginning, it seems like kind of scary and kind of, you know, frustrating and nerve-wracking because you're excited and you want to just like hit the ground running and run fast. But I promise you, if you just have a little bit of patience and you find that one good hostess, and then she, you know, has somebody from that party that booked the party, your snowball will start to roll. And, you know, you got to always be thinking about the future parties and the future CEs. You know, shopping is wonderful, and you know, you got to have shopping as part of our Shop Host Join. Like, those are the 3 ways that you can be a part of Trades of Hope, and you're going to have people that are excellent shoppers. I've got some ladies who love their Trades of Hope, and you better believe that I make sure that they get the new catalog and they get the, you know, notifications of sales, and you know, they are never ever going to have a party for me, and they are never going to become CEs, but they are going to have $300 orders or $200 orders, you know, every couple of months. So those are my VIP customers. So shopping is great. Like, you need people that are going to shop. Most people, if they're coming to the party, they're expecting there's going to be shopping involved, so they'll buy something. And of course, there are ways to increase your sales. There's some great calls. You listen to Jill Butler's Pancakes training call in Hope University. It's all about, like, you know, how to increase your sales. But people will shop. The big thing that you need to think about in terms of the sustainability that I started with is finding hostesses and finding women to sponsor. I mean, compassionate entrepreneurs make the biggest impact on our artisans. You know, I a couple months ago, or not even a month, last month, some of you weren't here, but last month I had an incredible moment when I was looking at the dashboard. You know, it shows you on your dashboard how much you have, your PRV from the day that you started. So my PRV in 2 years hit over $80,000. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. You know, in 2 years, I alone have sold $80,000 worth of jewelry and scarves and things, and impacted, you know, that many lives. But the incredible thing was when I looked slightly above that to our group retail volume for the month of March, it was at $80,000. And I thought, oh my gosh, what took me 2 years to do by myself, as a team, we did in 3.5 weeks. And that was incredible to me. You know, if we want to make a big impact, we need to sponsor. We need to have parties where we can get in front of people and share this incredible business model that we have, this movement that we are a part of, get people excited about it. And when people become CEs, it is exponentially greater for our artisans. Being a hostess is fabulous. I love hostesses. We would not have a business. They are the bread and butter of our business. We have a home party business. You have to have hostesses, and they are amazing. And I love, love, love my hostesses. But the women that choose to take it even further and become compassionate entrepreneurs, that is incredible to me. That is like, I mean, you are a world changer, and the exponential impact that you can make on our artisans is huge. And then when you think about you sponsoring people and you know, and the growth of that, and you know, it all goes back to what I started with, which, you know, our summer insert, and the fact that we have added Jordan and Thailand, and we're up to 16 countries. That's why. It's because, you know, things like our team growing by almost 100 CEs since January. That's why Jordan and Thailand are part of our catalog now, because of all of you. all of you women that have come on in the last few months. I mean, it's all related and it's all connected. And I hope that you see that. I hope that you're starting to understand, you know, that building your own sustainable home party business with Trades of Hope truly is impacting and achieving the mission that we're on. Okay, I'm gonna open it up for questions, and so if you want to type into the chat feed, then I'll take questions. You gotta ask questions. Are you guys still there? Can you guys still hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay, good. Yes. All right, good. All right, good. Here we go. So Emma says, what are the daily disciplines that you do to get more parties on your calendar? Okay. All right. Well, what I do to get more parties on my calendar, if I have 0 parties on my calendar, then it's all about that frank list and getting on your phone and making 10 phone calls a day and, you know, reaching out, you know, starting to build your personal brand and your presence on Facebook, you know, using the tools that you have at your disposal to get the word out that you are a part of this company, Trades of Hope. And it's hard at the beginning, you know. You know, your friends, you've read a lot about the friends and family thing, and that people that you expected to be supportive or not, and you know, and it's just a delicate thing. When you start something new, no matter what it is, people are going to be skeptical, especially the people that are closest to you. You know, they you know, for whatever reason, they want to make sure that your relationship with them doesn't change, that you don't get hurt, you know, that you are a part of something that is good, and all of those things. So it is, I will tell you, the hardest part is the beginning and finding those first few hostesses. But once you get through it, it's kind of like the growing pains and all of that. Once you get through that and you've got those first 1 or 2 good bookings, then you hostess coach them. You listen to my Hope University call, the Coaching Your MVP, and you do those things, and you build that rapport with your hostess. You partner with her. You know, you have the greatest party that you can possibly have. You know, and honestly, you know, remember, with all this, we're talking about people. And people are weird, and people are funny, and people, you know, you can do all the right things and have a stinker of a party, and you can totally, like, drop the ball and have the most amazing party ever. So there is no hard and fast or right or perfect way for any of this. But you just have to try, and you have to keep trying. So, you know, to kind of answer your question, Emma, you just make sure that the bookings that you do have, that you make them as good as you can possibly make them. And then when you go to those parties, you have your brain set on how many parties am I going to book tonight? How many hostesses am I going to find at this party? You know, I try. I mean, sometimes I book, sometimes I have none. I mean, don't kid yourself. Sometimes there's 0, but sometimes there's 7. Sometimes there's, you know, just depending on what kind of goal I set for myself going into it, and what, you know, tool that I use, either raffling something off or, you know, challenging the group to an all or nothing, you know, whatever it is, just really being bold and being kind of brave to get those bookings. You know, once you get the ball rolling and once you have kind of a stream of parties, you know, it does become easier. You know, I don't really worry about bookings because my bookings go so far out, and I'm always, you know, like, I see where I have holes, and so I have like a whole pipeline of people. I have a folder called Future Parties, and so if I want to fill in a little bit, I'll go to my Future Parties folder, and I'll open it up, and it has all my order forms of people that said, call me in 3 months, or I think I want to have a party, I just don't know now, you know, give me a call. And I think there's people in there that I met a year ago that I will eventually have a party with. And so it's hard, you know, when you're at the beginning, you just don't have that same, you haven't amassed a pipeline of potential hostesses, but you will, you totally will, and then you can fill in on your calendar. And I try to fill in with Facebook parties too. I try to do like 1 or 2 a month, you know, to try and fill out my month and my calendar and make sure that I'm having as many parties as I want to have. And then when you have 4, 5, 6 parties a month, you also have to think about, well, you're probably in front of 40, 50, 60 people, and you got to imagine at least a couple of them might want to do what you're doing, might want to be compassionate entrepreneurs. You also need to start to get into that mindset of, okay, who am I going to meet tonight that might want to be on my team, might want to, you know, be a CE and change the world in this exponential way that I am. You know, so much of it goes back to your mindset, and you know, the power of positive thinking is so intense and real. I feel like this is a commercial for my Hope University calls, but if you go and listen to the other ripple effects, and then also the It's Only Impossible Until It's Done, those are 2 other calls that I've done that I feel really strongly about. And you know, it is kind of a commercial. I mean, you know, I have achieved a lot in 2 years. You know, my first year with Trades of Hope, when I was just sort of like dabbling, I was 4th in sales for the company. And then obviously last year, I was, you know, top seller and top recruiter. I mean, that didn't happen by accident. And so I really try to reflect on the things that I do and share those as clearly as possible, so that, you know, you have access to those tools, if that makes sense. Okay, I have to walk to my bedroom and get my plug for my phone real quick, so I can't see what you're writing. So hold on. Quick timeout. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so if you guys want to type in any more questions. Francine, you said, do you ever mention the premium portion at parties? What do you mean by that? That portion seemed very exciting, but not mentioned. The premium portion, I still don't understand completely what you're asking. Maybe I haven't listened to the same training that you're talking about. Okay. I might have to go back and look at exactly what you're talking about and maybe answer that question. I don't have a good answer for you right now. The premium. Oh, okay. Okay. No, obviously I don't talk about it because I'm not completely clear. Was this in the toolbox, or was this Colleen's call on fair training or fair trade? The Hope University was Colleen, or was it on the fast track? Okay, I need to obviously go back and listen to it because I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I talk about, in terms of fair trade, kind of what I talked about before, how it's a relationship with, you know, the depth of the relationship. It's not just, you know, again, back to the, like a buyer for a department store. It's not just about the product. And this is what I say at parties. It's not just about the product. It's about the product, and it's about the person that made the product, and it's about her family, and it's about her community and her village, and it's a you know, and her community. So in that regard, yes, I do talk about how the fair trade relationship goes much further than just the product. I don't talk about a specific like premium, but I do talk about the well-being of the community is impacted because we practice fair trade. So that makes sense. Maybe that answers your question. Does anybody else have any? Okay, good. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything? Has anybody been able to watch the YouTube, the streaming of our online A way to generate gift cards? No, you just have to make them, and then people have to contact you directly to place the order. So then you would just do it as a, you know, you would pay for whatever portion of it that the gift card was made for. You know, if you use the multiple credit card payment option. Oh yeah. Any tips on sponsoring? Amy asks. Well, again, I mean, this is a whole world. Marianne just did a new call on sponsoring, so I'm going to try to give that a listen tomorrow and see what else I can pick up. It's honestly, I think it starts with you. I think it starts with a belief in yourself that you can be a sponsor. I think that's the first thing, and you have to understand and believe what we're doing and our movement and why compassionate entrepreneurs are so important. And then I think it's also just being open to every single person that comes across your path and believing that when you go into a party that everybody's there for a reason and trying to determine what that reason is and really talking but also really listening to people and trying to figure out if it's right for them. So many people are looking for something. I mean, I was looking for something. That's why I became a CE. I wanted something more. I missed my teaching job. I wasn't teaching at that point, and I just wanted something fulfilling, and I liked the idea of it. And you can kind of tell, you know, when you're looking around the room doing your presentation, who is thinking about it. And even if you can't tell, that's why you ask everybody. You know, are you interested in doing what I'm doing? And I've used that phrase now for a while, and I really like it. I think that sometimes when you say, are you interested in being a compassionate entrepreneur? The people are like, what? I don't even know what that means. That's such a long title. But if you say, are you interested in doing what I'm doing, and you've already demonstrated how much you love what you're doing, then they might say, yeah, actually, I am. And I get that response a lot. People go, yeah, actually. So I think it starts with you and the belief that you can sponsor and the belief that sponsoring is so important to our mission. And then just being genuine and totally authentic and seeking the people out that are seeking you. I mean, they are headed your way. You just have to be ready for them. And then there's some, you know, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to listen to Marianne's call. You know, there might be more to it than that, but I tend to think it's not really black and white. I think it's pretty gray in terms of sponsoring, that people just sort of come your way, and you just have to be open to it. And I think that's what happened to me when I went to Haiti, and at that point I had a very small team. There were only like 17 women total in my whole little group, and that was a year ago. And Marianne said, you're having how many parties a month, and you only have 17 people on your team? I'm like, yeah, well, so. But it was me. It was my own I was closed off, I think, and I didn't even know it. And when I started to open myself up, all of a sudden, it grew. I mean, since last May, we've gone from 17 to 188. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, you know, sometimes it just takes a little time, too. Peyton says, any advice on online or Facebook parties? How do we not lose the power of the story online? It is so hard, Peyton. And this is something we go round and round about. You know, we are a home party company. So home parties are really important because you know, people, when you're not a household name, you know, you need a little bit of explanation of your product. And when you have stories like we do, living rooms are the best. But obviously, I mean, I do a couple of Facebook parties a month. I think that what I have learned with the Facebook parties is that, and also with home parties, honestly, that less is more. But I think that if you really want to impact people, you probably need to tell them less than you think you do. So with a post on a Facebook party especially, a super long, drawn-out post is not necessarily going to get people excited and want to check out your link and shop. You know, you're wanting to tug at heartstrings, but you're also wanting to and I talked about this a lot at our team meeting this month, that you always want to be a light, you want to be exciting, that we are impacting change, and focus on the positive, that we're trades of hope, that yes, there are dark things that happen in the world, and you can turn on the news. I mean, my sister lives in Baltimore, and I've been getting texts all night about, is your sister okay? I mean, there's horrible things happening, like literally right now, Nepal, with the earthquake. I mean, but you don't want to necessarily put that on a Facebook post for a party, or even necessarily share it at a home party. You want to share the hope, and you want to share the light, and how people can be a part of that. And so lately, I've been shortening my Facebook parties. I only set them up for they go a week. That's it. So I set them up a week before, and they culminate in a live event. And my live event is like 30, 40 minutes max. Getting the hostess super excited and involved is like number one. And you have to circumvent Facebook, because only 10% of people see the invitations that they receive on Facebook for events. So you have to you send your hostess an email wording that she can use. So I have a Facebook wording, so they send it out via email to their guests and say, hey, I'm having a party on Facebook, look in your events for the invitation. Or they can send it as a Facebook message, but not even everybody has Facebook Messenger. So and your hostess has to post, and she has to be the one, she really has to be the catalyst for online, because at a home party, I can use my personality and myself to get people excited about Trades of Hope, and usually the hostess doesn't have to say much. But online, they don't know me, and they can't really get to know me through a Facebook party, but they know her. And so she has to really share her excitement, whether, if she's got products already, she needs to take pictures of herself and put them up. She needs to, if you can get a good buy-in from a hostess for a Facebook party, that's going to be the best. And honestly, I've had Facebook parties where literally 0 people show up, no sales. I mean, I've had everything from like the stinkiest party you can imagine to like a $1,300 online event, like and everything in between. So it's a very unknown, but I have learned that shorter posts, faster moving, shorter overall, like a 30-minute live feed versus I used to do an hour, and it was just too much. And super excited hostesses are kind of the key. And Emma is totally right that the Bitly thing is great, and you just go to Bitly, which I didn't even know what that was, but you can put in our party URL, and then it'll shorten it into this weird little Bitly, but then you can customize it with a little edit tool to be whatever you want it to be. You can use your hostess's name. A lot of mine, I use the hostess's name with ToH after it, or you can spell out Trades of Hope, or like right now I have one for Guatemala called Send Your Heart. Even the Bitly that you use to register for this, the Small Things Great Love, like that was a long, ugly link that we just used Bitly to shorten. Okay, so Facebook event, yeah, okay, I think we answered. Francine, Francine, you can do a launch party like that. I would focus really, yeah, the launch party thing is tricky, and you're not going to like what I'm going to say, but so I didn't have a launch party. I had a party. I was a hostess before I was a CE, and my friend Katrina was the CE, and it was a great party, and I decided to become a CE, so I used my hostess rewards to buy my kit. And so I couldn't have a launch party because I had just had a party with all my friends. Like, I couldn't do another one. So I just sort of waited it out and found a good hostess to have my first party. That happened to be Rhea Campbell, who's on our team. So Rhea was my first hostess, and she had a party for me, and it was great. And that's how I started. So I didn't do a launch party. What I actually did was an anniversary party. At my first anniversary of being with Trades of Hope, I had a party and I hosted it, and it was great. It was a big, celebration. I had just gotten back from the first retreat, and it was kind of like a coming out party because I had really kept Trades of Hope separate from my friends and family for that whole first year. My whole first year, my mom hosted a party and a couple of my acquaintances from my teaching job, but pretty much everybody else was a stranger or a far away acquaintance, like somebody that I hadn't really been in touch with in forever that kind of reached out to me. And so it wasn't until after that first year that I had that anniversary party, and that was kind of like my launch into, hey, I've been doing this for a year now. This is real. I love this, and my friends and family were very interested at that point in supporting me. But a lot of people do launch parties because it's a great way to practice. I didn't have a practice party, so my party with Rhea was kind of, I don't even know what I said. I think I cried through the whole presentation. I was just kind of an emotional wreck. And so they bought a lot, so that was good. I think they felt sorry for me. But I think that doing a small kind of gathering with friends and family, if you want to do something like that, is great as a way to kind of practice your presentation in front of a loving audience. It might be difficult on Facebook, to go back to you, Francine. I would really focus on the people in your town first, and trying to find that good first hostess, because that's going to really help you build sustainability. Yeah, I mean, family and friends that are out of state, I think that if they pay attention, they'll notice that you're doing something on Facebook, and if they want to be a part of it or they want to know more, they'll ask you. But I really think that you have to focus your energy on new people that are going to come across your path that are going to be your future hostesses. That's where you're going to build that sustainability, and it's hard because it pushes you out of your comfort zone a little bit, because I know you're thinking, you're like, I hate talking to people I don't know, or I'm a total introvert. I really am. I'm not saying that like that's what you're saying. That's me, Erin. I am a total introvert, and I have a very hard time, or I've learned a lot in the last 2 years. So, the idea of like talking to somebody at Starbucks about, jewelry was just crazy to think about. But it all goes back to, being bold and getting uncomfortable and doing things for our artisans that maybe push us out of our comfort zones a little bit. And, the easy path is not always going to be, the best. And I've seen so many CEs that just kind of tap out their friends and family, and then your business is done. And you really have not created that sustainability. So it's harder, but it is much better in the long run. As someone who has done it that way, I can attest. Anybody else have a question or anything else you want to ask about? Okay. I do want to make sure that everybody, if you are, actually, and some of you I think became CEs because of a legacy event that you attended. So we are having another legacy event next Sunday night, and if you have anyone that you are interested in inviting as a potential CE that you're talking to, please let me know, or ask your sponsor. Your sponsor's probably invited, so she can invite you. You can invite guests. So if you would like to be invited to that, just let me know. It's just a way to start a conversation with somebody. That's really what the intention is. It's a short. Many of you saw it. It's just a 30-minute little feed that I host, and that the other CEs contribute to, and then there's lots of guests there. The last one was fabulous. This one will probably be a little bit smaller because of the girls being gone for Costa Rica, but you guys are more than welcome. It is never too soon to sponsor. Be bold. If you have somebody that you think would be wonderful, this gives you a great reason to call them and say, I thought of you when, for this company, because you have such a compassionate heart. Nobody's gonna, we talk a lot about like being pushy or feeling like, you don't want to scare people off, but honestly, like, if you call somebody and tell them that you're part of something that's really beautiful and missional, and that it reminded them of you, or reminded you of them, nobody's going to say, oh, how dare you? How dare you think that kind, wonderful thing about me? So think about it that way, that you really, you know, if you have a genuine feeling about somebody, it does not hurt to ask. And I've asked plenty of people that I did truly believe that they would be great at it, and they're like, no, it's just not gonna, it wouldn't be right for me right now. But thank you. They always say thank you. You know, so sweet that you would think of me. So make sure you ask for your invite to the Legacy event, and I'll get you invited to that. Do you guys have any questions about that or about anything that's coming up? Our next meeting is going to be in June. Our next face-to-face meeting that'll be streamed. So make sure that if you're out of state or out of town that you hop on that. But we'll do another call. It's going to be Monday, May 18th. Will be our next new CE call. And, you know, anybody is welcome, but definitely CEs in their first 90 days. Come check it out. And that'll be the day after I get back from Guatemala. So I will hopefully be feeling very inspired and have some great things to share with you guys. And you'll get first dibs on my Guatemala experience in the 18th. Okay, if there's nothing else, last chance to ask questions. All right, I really, really appreciate you guys attending tonight, and welcome again. Some of you are brand new, and I really appreciate you being on this call. It's really important to just to show up. So thank you for showing up and taking the time this evening to be here with me. Thank you, thank you.